Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, welcome to our Monday afternoon podcast. I'm excited to be here with you guys, and of course, we have James and Gershom over here. Some great guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. All right. So we have a lot to talk about today, of course. Over the weekend, a lot of developments, and Bitcoin price been going crazy. And then, of course, we got oil prices that's also been going crazy. All right. But before we get started, here quick things about tomorrow. We do have our 7:30 training tomorrow, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, we have training for members and for guests, of course. All right. So the training on Tuesdays is very important. We have a lot of, usually we have a lot of great trainings and of course, very important announcements. And tomorrow, 7:30, I'll be talking about compensation structures, how to get paid, the auto rebuy, how it's going to help the customers, and of course, how it's going to help for us to build our business. All right. So don't forget to hop on tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern time. All right. So Gershom, over the weekend, recently the price of Bitcoin has been trading somewhat like sideways, like hovering around 7,000, going up to went up to as high as 7,200.
Yeah.
Right, and now of course this morning it dropped down a little bit to low at 68, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I've been watching it. It's trading right now like in a range, and so everyone is waiting for the breakout, right? And then it becomes, where's it going to break out to? Will it break out to the upside or to the downside? Because for the past couple of maybe a week or so, a couple of weeks, it has been trading like between 7,200 and like 6,700 right there.
Right
in that range. So at some point it's going to break out. I tend to believe that it's going to break out towards the upside, maybe push us towards $8,000 or so before we actually get to the halving. But, we're very close to the halving right now. I think the halving is going to take place on May 24th, somewhere around there. So we're only a few weeks away. So, we'll see what happens. And a lot of things are happening right now that didn't happen before the previous halvings, right? And so I'm interested to see how things will play out. The last couple of halving that we didn't have, a crisis like this. We didn't have a pandemic, a global pandemic. We didn't have all this stimulus and bailouts and quantitative easing and all that stuff. Now, Bitcoin were created when we first had the last situation, but it hasn't gone through a crisis. So this is first crisis for Bitcoin. And it's interesting because it's happening right before the halving. So we'll see what happens. I tend to think that we're going to break out to the upside. Many people think we're going to break to the downside. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. This is actually, yes, it's something that has never happened. Well, of course, this coronavirus, this pandemic has never happened in our lifetime, right? Yeah, maybe back in the 1918, the Spanish flu, there's something close to this.
Yeah.
By modern time, yes, we haven't had anything like this. So obviously, and we have a halving coming up in next month, literally next month.
Yeah, literally a few weeks away.
Right.
Which is for those of us that's in the Bitcoin space, whether you mine in Bitcoin, whether you trade in Bitcoin, whether you buy and hold Bitcoin, doesn't matter. If you're in the Bitcoin space, this event, the halving, is a big deal for us, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited to see what happens with price, as we're closer.
Right. And actually, just in case for the audience that do not know what the Bitcoin halving is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So every 10 minutes, of course, for the miners, every 10 minutes, there's 12 and a half Bitcoins that come out in the network every 10 minutes. So when the halving happens, it usually happens every 4 years, roughly around every 4 years. So it goes into half, which means it'll be 6.75 Bitcoins will come out every 10 minutes. Right, when this halving happens. So the less Bitcoin that come out in the network, which means what's it going to do for the miners, for people like us?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, typically during the halving is the first couple months after the halving, the price is still somewhat stagnant, somewhat doesn't catch up to the mining, right? To the cost of the mining, right? Because usually what usually happens in economics and supply and demand, if something costs more expensive to make, right, obviously it has to be more expensive, right? So that's what this halving is going to be. It's going to be more expensive for the miners to mine Bitcoin because we get half the amount. So in theory, it's supposed to be the Bitcoin price supposed to be actually twice that amount to cover the cost, right? But in Bitcoin halving, what happened in the last, and it happened 2 times already in the past, right? The Bitcoin halving, it does lag a few months, right? And then the Bitcoin price will start catching up, right? So what it means is we can expect May, June, July, and even August for the price to stay in the 7, 8, maybe 7 to 9. So it's still not enough to cover all that cost. But eventually, in the last 2 halving, near the end of the year, that's when the Bitcoin price will catch up to the mining, right? Which means usually in the beginning of the year, and the Bitcoin price almost doubles by the end of the year compared to the beginning of the year. All right. So that's what happened in the last 2 halving. Is it going to happen for this one? We'll see. And I think it will. Of course, this is my opinion, and I have some Bitcoins myself, and I'm a Bitcoin miner too. This time, I think it'll be even a little more than what happened.
I was just about to say that. Now, let me tell you why I think that.
Okay.
Because you always, at least for me, you always want to go back to basic principles, right? And the basic economic principle always comes back to supply and demand, right? And so when you look at it, there is more demand for Bitcoin because more people are getting information about Bitcoin. More people are getting into Bitcoin. More people are mining, buying, trading, whatever, right? But Bitcoin is getting more attention. More people are involved. At the same time, we're reducing the supply, right? So now you're going to have more demand, more than what was before, right?
Right.
And you're going to have less supply. So when you couple those 2 things together, to me, it says one thing: a price has to go up. The price has to go up, right? Unless we can just throw out all economic laws out the window, that doesn't apply. But I say the economic laws will apply to this situation. And I say more supply, less demand, drive the price up.
I definitely believe that too. And that's what happened too. But in this case, because of what's happening right now, because of this situation, this pandemic situation, obviously the Bitcoin price has come down before this thing happened. All right, and this thing actually pretty much costs everything to go down. Costs the stock prices go down. Stock market, of course, is the last time I checked my 401k, my IRA. The whole thing is down. I'm down 13% year to date. Okay. Of course, you have the gold is also down, right? And usually the gold in the stock market, they are inverse, and because of this situation, it looks like everything is going the same way. Bitcoin's going the same way, and of course, gold and stock, they're moving somewhat in correlation right now, which it doesn't happen often.
It doesn't. I think the fact that almost everything is moving in tandem, I see that as a short-term reaction. And like we talked about before, where people were liquidating their position in gold and Bitcoin to cover their situation, margin calls and all of that, right? We did talk about that. So, but what I think is this. So yes, right now in the immediate response to what's going on, yes, a lot of people are going into cash. So when people panic, when people think that, there's a crisis upon us, they go into cash because they see cash as safety. And then once the dust settles, then they start to look to see, okay, where do I need to be to make sure I can protect my asset or get some growth. And I think once the dust settles, then you're going to start seeing more cash going into Bitcoin and gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, what I see happening is you're going to see one thing settle, you're going to see gold and Bitcoin go up in price. And then eventually, I think you're going to see Bitcoin decouple from gold because, as a Bitcoin person,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Bitcoin have so many more advantages over gold. So I think eventually they will decouple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point, we'll see Bitcoin shine.
Mm. But I would say I think Bitcoin will decouple from the stock market first.
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah, absolutely. Everything, the gold and Bitcoin will decouple from the stock market,
Right.
and now gold and Bitcoin is going to rise together. But then eventually, I see Bitcoin decoupling from gold and take off by itself.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. I think obviously Bitcoin just have a lot more room to grow,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you're talking about gold. It's last time I think I read it's
It's like $7.2 trillion. That's in gold as far as the market cap.
Okay, so it's a $7 trillion market cap, whereas Bitcoin is only about 200 billion. So there's a long way. So we have a long way to catch up to go, and that's what makes this so exciting. Actually, that's what makes Bitcoin so exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I'm super excited. Are you kidding me? I think Jason just logged in.
Yeah. Hey, Jason, are you? We hearing some?
Can you hear me?
Hear us? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I'm sorry. I got stuck at Home Depot earlier.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Welcome to the party.
I know.
Yeah, I can see you. Can't see us?
I can see you guys. So
Okay.
good. I was driving back. I thought it's going to be a quick trip, but then because of all these social distancings, you actually have to wait, so that there's enough, I guess, safe distance for you to get in. And same thing as you are trying to check out. So the line was actually quite long today. Maybe it's Monday and people trying to return all their stuff that they bought over the weekend. I was one of them. So I bought the wrong stuff. So I got to go and exchange it actually. So,
right. Jason, right now, nothing is a quick trip anymore. If you go out,
no.
I just went to the bank. Gershon and I just went to the bank to make a couple of deposits. It was crazy. It wasn't busy, but all this waiting and not many people working as a bank teller. It took normally it'll take me 5 minutes to go to the bank. All right. Yeah. This time it took us the whole morning.
Yeah,
or the whole afternoon.
Yeah,
almost.
It was crazy. And we got to one bank and you had to stand outside and wait for them to let you in. And they're only letting in one person at a time.
One person at a time.
One person at a time. And you have to be wearing a mask. No mask, you can't get in the bank.
You know what? That is a new law actually.
Yeah.
So you have to have a mask when you go into
when
you go into a pharmacy or anything that is inside. So including Home Depot.
Pennsylvania. Right. Yeah. Right now, I think the Pennsylvania just enacted that law yesterday at 8:00 p.m.
On the 22nd, in 2 days here in California, that same law is going into effect too. If you go out into public, you're required to wear a face covering now.
Okay.
Yeah.
California, that same law is going into effect too. If you go out into public,
okay. Wow.
Yeah,
I guess a new norm. So my wife is actually making us reusable masks right now. We just got our fabrics last week, so she's gonna sew a bunch of these masks together for us and the adults and the kids. So
nice.
Yeah, this good. But this thing is crazy, and also, of course, in Pennsylvania, I think the Governor Wolf just extended the stay-at-home order to May 8th.
Wow.
Yes. Did you see that? You didn't see that?
I did saw that in passing. I didn't really read. I didn't read the article, but I did see the headline though that they're going to extend it. But there were some people that were advocating to keep the lockdown for like 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
But there were some people that were thinking that, that was the way to go.
Wow.
But I just can't see them doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Which lead me to, I want to ask you guys, so what do you guys think about all the protests that was taking place this weekend across the country? Regarding people, they're tired of the lockdown, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Hey, I don't want to bring any politics into our discussions, but here's what I do feel some people, I do feel bad for them because I personally know a lot of realtors and loan officers, and with this lockdown, actually, a lot of them seeing their income being slashed, from 100% to, in some cases, zero, right? Because they can't by law go out there and show houses or take their buyers or renters around. So, they are actually advocating that, hey, you know what? They want to get back to work, in a safe manner. There's always going to be two sides of the, arguments, right? I mean, is it safe for us to return back right now? I'm no doctor, so I don't know. But, can we do it, in a safe way? Probably. What do you think, Jen?
I obviously I get tired too, right? Most of the time we all stuck at home. I can't go to my liquor store.
Well, they do curbside pickup. So
yes, they just started that today. So hopefully,
today, okay.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some wine, and I like to drink, but I've never drank so much before prior to this. Now because the only entertainment I have,
because you're home the whole time.
Yeah,
you're home all the
I'm
time.
home,
What are you gonna do?
it's good. Sometimes I enjoyed it. I like to be home with my son and with my wife, and sometimes we cook and have steak, and then a bottle of wine. So we have a bottle of wine every other night or so. It's great, but there was. I also long to go out there and go eat at restaurants, right? Going out and our vacations, going to the office, and seeing all the members that we have just interacting and just working and be productive.
Yeah.
I do miss that a lot too. Part of the reason it's so great to be in this business is you get to travel around and build your team, without boundaries, right? Even though we can still try to build our team, but then it's a lot less fun, right? It's a lot more fun. I mean, when you can travel to other city and meet the person, in person, meet the people in person. So it's just a lot more fun, and I do miss that a lot. So
right. So in terms of the lockdown and protesting against this lockdown, I'm going to leave it up to the professionals, those doctors, those scientists. If they say we should stay at home, okay, I'll stay home, but not for 18 months. I don't think I can do 18 months.
Well, I think so. I think a few things are in play. One, there's so many people that's been on lockdown for so long that they're just getting frustrated. And so someone's is at home. Not only are they, they can't do their regular things that they would normally do, but they have no income. And, so those people are pretty much at the edge right now because I'm isolated and I have no income coming in. And the bills keep coming because the bills doesn't care about the coronavirus, so to speak, right? So the bills keep coming.
Right.
Then, I think in Michigan where they passed some kind of, I don't know if it was a official law, but where you couldn't even go visit your loved one. If they have a parent someplace, not a place, a part of the city, you can't go visit them. So it's kind of tough, man, because we have to get the economy going again, but at the same time, we have to make sure that this pandemic doesn't get a stranglehold on us. So I wouldn't want to be in their shoes right now, trying to make a decision. If we should open up, if we should not. It's a tough times right now.
Right. And we do have a member from Arizona, Leo, that says, all the money we earn and no places to go.
You know what, Leo? I do feel you. But I'll tell you what, I've been doing a lot of online shopping. So I feel like every day or every other day, there's something that's being shipped to my house. With that being said, actually, I just checked my account and today I mined over $200 worth of Bitcoins today. Me and my wife combined. So
yeah, I know you posted your hash power in Telegram group. That's a big number, man.
Oh yeah, and mostly it's thanks to Lori's team.
Oh yeah,
right, Lori and Nixon.
You should be saying thank you, Lori.
Yeah,
because that's a big number.
All right,
that's right.
And also for Lil, you gotta reach out to all those people that are filing for employment. All right, you gotta go out and help those people to make all this money with no places to go. Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
And you know what? When you think about it, residual income, and also you gotta have a backup plan, right? So right now, just your regular just one job is not enough, and most Americans, it's simply not. Right? And to have one job and retire the way that there's no way you'll retire the way that you want.
No,
if you just have one job.
Right. No, I mean those days of going to work and work someplace for 30 years and then retire and they give you a beautiful gold watch and you get a pension for the rest of your life. No, those days are over. And I don't think we'll ever see those days again. Speaking of which, I wonder how many people realize right now that there's so many pension funds across the country that's in trouble. And there are a lot of people right now who may be close to retirement, or even some people that's retired, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening because there's so many pensions right now that's blowing up.
And I'll tell you a real story. About 10 years ago, I helped a retired couple who lives in Philadelphia for 40 years, and the husband used to work for Sears for 30 plus years. The wife was a healthcare profession, so registered nurse. They both retire, bought a house in Texas. We helped them sell the house over here in Philly. And that was enough, just to put down as a partial down payment down in Texas. And their game plan was to rely on Sears with, a pension plan. And obviously the wife also had a retirement plan through the hospital. Unfortunately, Sears went into bankruptcy. Right now, they're under the what they call a pension protections since 2006, and so I didn't follow up with the stories as to what happened. I'm sure they're in a financial struggle right now, living off of just the wife's retirement income, as opposed to two. So, and they have a mortgage to pay and taxes too. So, pension is not guaranteed, guys. I mean, that's a reality.
But you know what? You're so right. But there's so many people who have the false hope that their pension is guaranteed. And a lot of those people will have the realization that, no, your pension is not guaranteed. And unfortunately, that's going to happen to more people than you would think. We know CalPERS, their pension plan is in trouble. We know Illinois, their pension plan is in trouble. We know Jersey, their pension system is in trouble. You can go from state to state, and when you peel back the onions and start to look at a lot of these pension plans, they're in trouble. A lot of them is going to implode, and a lot of people who are relying on their pension to survive in retirement, either they're going to get a lot less than they were promised, or they won't get any at all. And that's just the reality of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this pandemic will make people really realize that even though most people know they're living from paycheck to paycheck, but this pandemic really make them feel, and hopefully some of these people will make a change and start saving some money, right? And start for looking for another source of income.
So it's like a wake-up call, basically, right?
Right. And even after this is over, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for the economy to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Right. So I was reading an article that even let's say we find a cure or maybe not so much a cure or a vaccine, but we're easing the way back into normalcy. Right. But you still have your social distancing. You still have, your movie theaters that you only allow maybe half the people or 1/3 of the people, right? Because you still don't want everything fill up, right? Your sporting events 1/3 and everything else. The restaurants maybe 1/3 of the people. So this is going to have another impact, and it's going to take a while before the economy to get back the way it was. All right. So. So and that's where we are. The economy, the stock market, and most people's 401k and their pension plan is tied to the stock market, right? Or their 401k will become 401k in the next year, right? Or is it the 401k is a 201k right now? Right.
201k.
Yeah.
And so that's why we come and talk about alternative assets like Bitcoin or gold, and that's the opportunity we have. And I hope more people are looking into more alternative assets than just saving their money or just putting their money in the stock market.
Yeah, right. It's funny that you said that. I think a lot of people know that just having a single source of income is not sufficient. But, people procrastinate all the time. They know it. They probably think about it. But sometimes, is making the decision to look for other sources of income, right? So you may know that your situation is not ideal, but you just don't have the motivation to seek out other sources of income. And so that's what I was saying to you, as you were saying earlier. Unfortunately, something like this will be a wake-up call for a lot of people that, hey, you can't allow yourself to just have one source of income. You can't allow yourself to just have a job where you're paycheck to paycheck. You cannot allow yourself to get comfortably in those situations because you never know when the next crisis is going to come out of nowhere and you won't have anything to fall back on because, one, you only had one source of income, and two, your income was just hold you over until the next paycheck. And so, unfortunately, it takes this to happen. But I would hope if you're in that situation where right now you realize that your single source of income is not sufficient, or if you're paycheck to paycheck, I really, really hope that you would take this opportunity to, make some changes, on the other side of this to where you don't find yourself having just one source of income or living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, Gershom, I was really, hoping that people, because, we always hear when it comes to investments, we always say, hey, never put all your eggs into one basket, right? So you should always diversify your portfolios. But how come we never do that? People never do that when it comes to thinking about that in terms of the incomes, right?
That's an interesting point. I love that.
They focus and put all the energy into just one source of income, right? And never thought about diversifying it, right? And maybe we should start thinking about it, just like our investment, diversify our income streams. So
that is thought, that's a brilliant point, Jason. Yes, I love that point. Is that we always talk about is your portfolio diversified? Is it diversified enough? Is it balanced? Right? We talk about those things all the time, but I've never heard anyone talk about, is your income diversified? But that's a brilliant point. I'm glad you brought that up. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that, and actually, I don't think enough people realize what residual income is and don't know how to get residual income. Right? That's what's important too. Right? When you work, your regular income, yes, you have to work. You have to sacrifice your time, and then there's only one of you, obviously, right? You can drive Uber and then or Lyft as a second or third income, but you have to keep on doing it to make income, right? But if you think about residual income, like investing in real estate, right, or doing business rebid, or having a franchise, any type of business where you have a system, and leverage that system and leverage other people to work on a system for you and have income coming while you're not working. And that's, I think a lot of people are not realizing that. And definitely not enough people are going after that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a good point, Mr. Jingao. You definitely. But look, like we said before, hopefully, this will be a wake up for a lot of people, and they will make some changes. Because if you go through this, and if you're down right now, you really are waiting to get the stimulus check because your finances is very, very tight, or if you're in that situation and you get out of this and you don't make any changes, then I don't know what to say, so I hope that you're not one of those persons who's going to get through this and just leave things as is. Before I met these gentlemen, Jin and Jason, I didn't think too much about diversifying my income. But once I start hanging out with these guys and see how they move and how they operate and, how they invest and things like that, I completely changed the way I think about income and investment. A complete 180, completely changed my life, 100%. And so that's why I emphasize so much right now to people that, look, you have to have multiple sources of income and you have to have residual income. You have to. It's a must. Matter of fact, it is your duty to have residual income and multiple sources of income.
Sure. Right. And, talking about residual income, multiple source, for real estate, for us, we have several problems. We have a portfolio of real estate, and know a lot of people that manage properties. I know a lot of brokers. Actually, one third of the tenants did not pay April rent.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, real estate, I think, is going to be tough. It's going to be tough for now, for the next few months. Depending on how the economy goes. All right. Real estate, it's going to be a tough market for real estate. And for real estate brokerages, actually, we haven't had many new deals. We had a couple new deals in the last few weeks. That's unheard of. And I know it's happening throughout everywhere. So imagine there's no deals coming in from that business. But one good thing is, yes, luckily rebid is still growing. Right, so I do have income coming in from rebid. Right, of course we slowed down a bit from from last month, of course, obviously, but we are still growing. Right, and another good thing about residual income, also my insurance business is still having renewal coming in, and so yeah, diversifying income and residual and renewal income, that's what's keeping us afloat. Not just afloat. Actually, we are pretty good. Okay, so we're not living from paycheck to paycheck. We're actually pretty good from all these residual income and passive income that's coming in. I can make it can be passive, and once it's active, we can make it active as well. Once we make it active, of course, we'll do even more and create more passive income. So we are in a very good position. All right.
Awesome. I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to get your guys' take on the price of oil. So today, the price of oil crashed to below. I've never seen that. The price of oil today went below zero.
Well, I tried to go to Home Depot earlier, try to pick up a couple of buckets so I can start, saving up these oil in my backyard. But they don't sell those 50-gallon drums.
Listen, I've never ever seen that before, where oil was trading in a negative. At one point, I looked and it was trading a negative $37. Oil was trading for today.
Yeah.
So I'm curious.
Can James pull up the oil? James, can you pull up some oil prices?
Sure thing.
So I heard a story.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
I heard a story that because these wells, once they're open and once they're pumping, it would cost them more money to try to shut it off and then restart it again. So therefore, these oils keep coming out, and it actually costs them more to transport them. That's why I think they have to trade at a negative to get them hauled away. So
the thing is, I think, from what I can understand, that's probably happening right now. So you have the economy has been shut down for the most part across the globe. That means that the demand for oil is not there because people are going to work, restaurants aren't open, trucking have cut back a lot, people aren't traveling. So the demand for oil has been reduced dramatically, but there is this glut of oil still on the market, right? Because like Jason says, they can't just shut down the oil well, so they got to keep pumping all the oil. So now we have an oil glut, but there's no demand for it. So what happens when it happens? The price crashes.
Right.
That's crazy.
That is. James just pulled up a chart. Oil was trading at negative 25 to negative 37.
I've never seen that ever.
dollars a barrel. That is crazy. And actually, that also is what's happening, and that's how we keep our expenses down in mining. In Canada or in some countries, the gas that's coming out from the ground it has to be released. Actually, it's a lot. Some from fracking, and all these natural gas. There are overabundance of these natural gas, right? So they're actually paying people, just like over here. They're paying people to take the oil, just like they're paying people to consume those natural gas, all right? And that's how we keep our expenses down, our electricity fees. Right. So what we do, we use natural gas up in Canada, okay, for our mining operations. Right. We have a generator that consumes the gas and produce electricity for our Bitcoin miners. Okay, that's how we were able to really keep our prices low. Right. Eventually maybe they will be paying us. Right, they will be paying us to consume their gas. So we'll get cheap electricity, we'll get negative.
Negative. That would be great. Can you imagine if that were to happen?
So that's actually, it's a lot of people couldn't see the idea when we were talking about getting gas for free. In Canada. So now you see it's happening with oil. All right, oil is trading in negative, so pretty much they came and gave oil away.
Well, I have heard like stories in Middle East where they have abundance of these oils. They are actually paying the residents to truck it away. They'll pay you $2 or $20 a barrel or $2 a barrel for you to haul it away. Now, I don't know what they do with these oil without refining it, but but they're willing to pay you $2 to haul it away.
Where did they haul it to? Where they like just out to the landfill somewhere?
To their yard, maybe. I have no idea, but I wouldn't know what you can do with these oil without refining it. So maybe you started back when the oil is like $100 a barrel down the line. But it's crazy. But that's what happened with these, commodities, these wells that are, once they're open, it costs them more money to shut it off. So they're betting that the oil prices is going to bounce back. Just like, many of us are betting that, this is a pandemic issue, is caused by pandemic, that equities and Bitcoins, their prices have gone down because nothing is pandemic proof, I guess, right? But this is the short term. So in the long run, it's going to bounce back. So right now is a great time to get in.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to say something to you guys, which may seem a little bit outside the norm, but oil was one of those things where people used to also see as a store value because it was such a high demand for oil and the price was always, on the upside, and the price is always pretty steady. But I believe that right now people do not see oil as a store of value as much as they see Bitcoin. So, when people are looking for safety as far as where they want to park their money, maybe there aren't that many people. Yes, we have a glut of oil, but maybe there are not that many people that's, putting their money into oil ETF or, oil derivatives and stuff like that. Maybe people are just either hoarding their cash or that money is going into gold and Bitcoin.
Right. Oh, just a quick thing. Actually, I have a question from one of the members. What is the maintenance fee after the first year? Of course, our first year maintenance fees including the package, so it's free. Now, after the first year is $0.0009 per gigahash. Okay, so it's 0.00009 cents per gigahash. Also, keep in mind we actually came down on maintenance fees 3 times. Or this is our 3rd time. Every time we come down in fees. When we first started, do you remember how much it was when we first started the company? I think it was 0.00014.
14 or 15. I thought it was 15.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was 0.00015 cents per gigahash. That's when we first started. And once the company started to grow and we'll start to keep the cost down, and then we reduced it to 0.00012. Right now, we reduced it again. Just a few months back, we reduced it to 0.0009. Right. So that's what is that? 30%. That's like a 30% decrease. All right.
For sure.
So and we'll continue. We're always working on our company to make it more efficient for you guys and for us. And we'll continue to drive the cost down. All right, we'll continue to purchase our miner at a steep discount at the lowest price possible, and get the electricity and maintenance fee as low as possible. And you'll see it. All right, you'll experience it. Of course, you already experienced that we already reduce or increase our hash power. Right, we increased our hash power by 20% already. Right, just last week or 2 weeks ago, we increased our hash power by 20%. Right. So those are the things that we're doing. We're always trying to improve and make it more efficient. Okay.
One of the things I love about. Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say that the reasons why we're able to do that is because we are able to go out there and buy them in a larger quantities, right? So so all of our members can actually help us in achieving that. So that the more members we have, the bigger the purchase that we can make, and then the cheaper the price that it's going to be for everyone. So that goes for the machines, the mining machines, as well as the energy prices that we get from suppliers. So
yes, that's right. It's the large quantity that we purchased. Actually, we purchased over $1 million worth of machine of the miners. Right, and it just arrived. Actually, it was released from custom. We just you did a check-in last week, Jason.
Yep.
Okay, so it's released from custom. Do our people have it yet, where they can start installing?
Not yet. So when it got released, it went to a Vancouver airport, right? And then it got released over there, and then they're gonna have to truck it to the location.
Okay.
So that's what it's in transit right now, but it takes longer time. We were concerned that it might take longer than usual because due to the pandemic. But it actually it took about 5 days to go through custom, which is actually about 2 days shorter than what we have been experiencing from before. So maybe it's because there's been less things that are being going back and forth between Canada and China. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to take a couple of days to truck it there, and then they're going to start installing it and plugging in and get it set up online. So start mining Bitcoins.
Okay.
Cool.
Right, and that just goes with how we strategize it. First of all, right? Ordering it at the right time, but also having the money. Right, we just closed our first round. We were successfully raised for the data center for VBit data center. We raised over $1 million actually, and we just closed that round. And so that's how we were able to do that as well. Right, so we used some of that money. But don't forget, previously we already had another over $250,000 purchase right before this. It's over $250,000 purchase that we have up in Calgary already. Right, so this is actually the second batch for Calgary. Right, so we actually how we were able to do it is yes, we were successfully raised over $1 million to purchase these machines, but because you think about it, guys. When we sell the packages to the members, we were only getting 35%. So we don't have all the funds, right? Obviously, when you buy the machines, we have to have the money to purchase those machines. But most of the members, when they get a higher package like gold or higher, most of them, I would say probably more than 50% of our people go on monthly payments. So which means we only have 35% before. Of your down payment, and right now we upped it to 50%. Okay, so which means obviously to purchase $1 million machines, it's not all from the members, right? It's some of it from it, and then but we were successful to raise the money. So we still have the good thing is we are well funded. Our data center is well funded. We still have a lot of money, and we're gonna wait for the next opportunity to order another big batch, right? And Weebit itself. We have no liabilities. Both the data centers and Weebit Corporation, we are very well funded, and we don't have any liabilities. Okay, so that's and funny, and you guys, if you look in Coinbase, a lot of articles about miners, about these smaller regional miners that some of them are closing the door, going out of business. Right, couple reasons why. One is a lot of them are highly leveraged, right? And it's easy to get the money for a lot of the miners. Easy for them to get the money because they know, and they like to finance it, is because they know once they have the capital, they can start mining Bitcoin and use that Bitcoin to pay off their liabilities, right? But if it turns the price go against them, Bitcoin price goes down, those guys are going to be in trouble. What they mine might not be enough to pay their debt obligations,
and that's why they have to shut their doors, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the guys. Yes. The more that those guys shut down the doors, actually, it's better for us.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. For us, we are good. We are no liability and fully funded, and actually, we still have a lot of fun. So, and fun also.
And also, Jin, another quick point. A lot of people don't know that when they buy these machines from manufacturers, they have to oftentimes, depending on your credit and how big of an order you put, oftentimes they have to put down the 100% payment upfront.
Yes.
So if they are leveraging, right, and don't forget, these machines takes 4 to 6 weeks to ship out. From the time that you put down your, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, it's going to take you 4 to 6 weeks before you see those machines and being able to plug online. And if you are leveraging that $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, you're going to be paying a lot of interest in those times, and you won't be mining any Bitcoins. And at the same time, if the price goes down, like what happened in March, it's going to be even worse situation for a lot of these smaller mining companies that are highly leveraged. So that's what got them in trouble.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about what we do is it seems like we're always looking for a way to pass on any savings that we have, to pass it on to our customers, to our members. Always. And I cannot recall ever visiting another mining company's website, looking to their program, and ever see a mining company that offers the first year of maintenance free. Do you guys ever seen that anywhere?
Mm-hmm. Right. No.
I've never seen that.
Right.
I think we're the only ones that offer that to our members, where the first year of maintenance is free.
Yep. So the market is, this situation actually, I think it creates more opportunities for us. Right? I know the other, like we say, the other miners, right? The more trouble they are, the more that shuts down, the better we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, what's the other thing you want to talk about?
We are getting close to wrapping it up, but I wanted to ask you guys. We touched on this last week, Jason and I, and I just kind of want to bring it back up and get you guys' opinion in terms of. So we believe that we're heading towards a cashless society, right? Where pretty much I think they're going to do away with cash, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion. What are the benefits that you guys see in having a cashless society?
Actually, I was talking to one of our members, and they have, she's building a good-sized team in Kenya, right? And actually, in Kenya, they always start doing it. It's cashless. Because I guess they had to carry a lot. Their currency is not as valuable, so you need a lot of their currencies to make any purchase. So they've been going cashless. So everything's on their phone, right? And what's going to happen? But also, here's another problem too. For them to send money, because some of them want to buy our packages, right? So they're trying to figure out, the best way is to do the credit card, right? But some of them don't have the credit card. That's a problem. And the credit card, yes, is you can do the purchase to us. And of course, another way is to get the Bitcoin, right? But Bitcoin is still very new in most countries, right? And still very new in the world. So they don't know how to get the Bitcoins yet, okay? And that's what when they transfer their money into the US dollars to here, for example, to one of our member, one of their idea is to transfer their money to the member here, and the member can pay for their packages over here. But the transferring $150 here, it'll cost them $30, right? So it just doesn't make sense for them to transfer money here. It'll cost them all that money
is
to
crazy.
transfer, right? Now that's where Bitcoin comes in, right? Like I say, it's still new, but once they have it figured out, once they have a system to get Bitcoin to that country, they can transfer Bitcoin here for 20 cents, right? For 30 cents, right? So that's the opportunity of Bitcoin, right? So, and that's what's going to do for the cashless. Yes, like today, you went to Burger King. They don't want to take cash. No one want to touch cash. I don't want to touch cash either. All right. So more of these more international cashless system. That's where Bitcoin is also gonna prolific. All right. So I'm excited about that.
What are some of the benefits that you see regarding the cashless society, Jason?
What are some of the what?
What are some of the benefits that you see for a cashless society?
Well, definitely, I don't have to touch the fiat dollar again because it's dirty, right? And another thing is, it's going to be, we don't have to worry so much about. I guess in my opinion, I don't have to worry about going out there because I'm being robbed or being something like that on have some of these stuff on in our pockets. I think it's convenient. I can pull up my phone and I can see all of my transactions. I don't have a lot of time I forget what I did with the money or what I bought. I gotta look for receipts at the end of the month, and Jen and I we settle our expenses for our businesses. Every time when we sit together and we try to come up with these expense reports, it's like a pain, right? It will be a lot easier if everything is digital. I think it's going to go a lot quicker. So I'm all for it. China's already been doing it for several years now. Nobody walks around with wallets anymore. they just walk around with their phones, and everything is being conducted with Alipay or WeChat Pay, or it's going from the biggest department store to the smallest street vendors. That's how they transact. You take out a phone, they scan your QR code, and there you go, payment sent.
Yeah. Those are great. And so the reason why I brought this up today, because after we briefly touched on it last week, it was last Friday. And over the weekend, I was just thinking about it. And I started to think about, okay, what if we look at what are some of the disadvantages of having a cashless society? So I kind of wanted to come at it from that angle. That's why I wanted to get you guys' opinion on the benefits. So I started converse with some things that I was thinking about, and based on what happened. So here are some disadvantages that I see with cashless society. So you guys have heard of a run on the bank, right, or a bank run. So if you have money in the bank and you feel like there's going to be a banking crisis or any kind of financial crisis or whatever, you can go to the bank and you can take out your money to protect yourself that way, right? And it happens all the time. But once you go cashless, if there is a crisis or a banking crisis, you can't take your money out. You're locked in the banking system. So the other thing I was thinking about is, so they're talking about right now we're at 0 interest rate, and some places around the country they're going negative rates, right? So if they were to implement negative interest rate, and the bank start to charge you for having your money in the bank. So if you have cash in the bank and the bank say, hey, for every $100 you have in the bank, we're going to charge you, at the end of the year, we're going to charge you $10. You wouldn't put your money in the bank because forget about it. But if you go cashless and your money in the bank and they say they're going to charge you to keep your money keep your money in the bank, you can't take it out. So those are some of the things I was thinking about, how you're going to get locked in the system where it's cashless, but you get the convenience, but you're going to lose so much of your control once cash is outlawed and the entire thing is just cashless. So, having said all that, once the system goes cashless, you have to make sure that you are in the right digital currency, and that is Bitcoin. Because if you're in the wrong digital currency where it's controlled by the powers that be, then I think you're going to find yourself at a disadvantage.
Well, also that's where the blockchain and cryptocurrency comes in, and when the government, and that's why a few governments are looking into digitalizing their currency, right? So if you digitalize their currency or make it into a cryptocurrency, but it's a fiat currency, of course, you still have co-wallet. You can have your own wallet, even though it's all digital, it's cashless. And it's in fiat, it's in US dollars, that US dollars can be held into your own wallet, right? So it doesn't have to be going to a bank or a central system. That once it's cryptotized, right? If tokenized,
okay.
Once that's tokenized, then that you can move it anywhere as long as you have a wallet to store that, right? And that's
I wonder if by that time, if the government would put on, even more restrictions in terms of how you can move your money around. It's going to be a lot easier for them to kind of put those restrictions on it.
Right. You're right. And fiat currency, of course, it has to be controlled by the government, right? The fiat currency, it's controlled by the country. And that's where Bitcoin comes in play, I think, and my belief, because any type of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is kind of like the mother of all crypto. So you have these fiat currencies converting into cryptocurrency or being tokenized. Then the Bitcoin is the exchange. It can be exchanged into any other fiat currency or any other cryptocurrency, right? So that's another benefit of the potential of Bitcoin.
Got to get some Bitcoin, guys. I'm telling you.
And that's why so many analysts are so optimistic about the value of Bitcoin. What's it going to be? A lot of analysts say 50,000 or 100,000.
250,000, a million.
Right? These crazy numbers, which we think right now is crazy. But when it happens, we won't think it's crazy anymore.
Look, when Bitcoin had no value, $10 was a crazy number.
Right.
$100 was a crazy number, right? Back then.
Mhm.
So, and look where we are now. What, 7,000? But remember when $100 was a crazy number. So now we're looking ahead and we're saying $250,000 is a crazy number. Maybe not.
Right.
Maybe not.
We'll see. We'll see.
Talk about crazy numbers. One last thought. You know, in 2008, when during the whole financial crisis or meltdown, governments, you know, issue out or pass a $700 billion bill, right, to help jumpstart or just help save the banks. $700 billion at that time was a crazy number.
Was a crazy number.
Was a crazy number.
Today it's nothing. Today
it was 2.2 trillion. Phase one.
Phase one.
Right? They're already talking about phase 4. They already phase 2, 3, and 4 in the works. Okay,
that is crazy.
Talking about crazy numbers. That's a crazy number for all of us to think about.
Excellent point. Absolutely.
All right.
I guess with that being said, we're going to wrap it up for today. As Jen said earlier, don't forget for all our members tomorrow, 7:30. We're going to have a regular live stream, 7:30 for members and guests. And then another live stream like this on Friday at 5:30. Are you guys liking these live streams? I'm loving these live streams.
I enjoy the talk. Awesome. I enjoy being, you know, and reaching out to.
So I hope you guys are liking the live streams as well. You know, give us some likes, some hearts, some, you know, share the live stream. Okay. All right.
Hey, I want to thank everybody. We finally have reached 1,000 likes on our Facebook page.
Nice.
So thank you guys.
So yes, thank all you guys for that.
Took us a while to get there, so let's continue to build that. Next goal would be let's do 2,000.
Yes. All right,
guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. You guys take care.
Have a good one.
See you guys later. Bye.